What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. Welcome to our live stream. Man, what a game! What a game! What a comeback! The Vancouver Canucks, down 3-0 after two periods, and they're able to come back and win it 6-5 in overtime. So we're gonna go ahead and break down this game. We're gonna talk about it, and oh man, I'm still all jacked up from that comeback win. Man, I'll admit that got me pretty emotional. Seeing them come back and win it. So yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right into our recap, get that all done and out of the way, and then we can just talk about the game. So let's go dive right into it. Let me just bring up my notes all the way back. There we go. Okay, so first period. Sherwood had a great chance in the first period. Tried to be a little too fancy with it and wasn't able to get a shot on goal. I did notice the little shove from DeSmith on Sherwood, so I don't know what the heck that was all about. And then Sherwood gets called for slashing. And for that, I'm sorry, but that penalty was absolutely brutal and very soft. So hand clap for Mr. Wes Macaulay there on that. That was a joke of a penalty. Prior to that penalty, the Canucks were playing really well prior to that penalty call, and then it just kind of went downhill after that for the Canucks. Dallas, as we mentioned, goes on the power play, and then Mikko Rantanen scores his 32nd of the season at 13:48 on the power play, assisted by Wyatt Johnston and Thomas Harley. Dallas is 1-for-1 on the power play. So our penalty kill for this game off to a bit of a bad start here, as Dallas is able to capitalize on the power play, and then Philip Hronek goes off for delay of game. Unfortunate penalty there. And then, so Dallas goes on the power play, their second power play, and then Marchment scores his 21st of the season at 18:01 on the power play, assisted by Ben and Granlund. So Dallas is now 2-for-2 on the power play. And also, another little key fact: Dallas 2 shots on their two power plays, 2 shots, 2 goals. So things excuse me, very rare occurrence for the Canucks' penalty kill here tonight. Little known fact: this is only the 6th time this season that the Canucks have given up a pair of power play goals, and it later on we're gonna dive in. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that. The Canucks were chasing the entire time on the penalty kill. They looked out of gas and checked out. Dallas 2 goals on 8 shots, not looking too good in the first period. This was a tough start to the game for the Vancouver Canucks. Final shots in the period were 8-7 in favor of Dallas. Moving on to the second period, a nice defensive play from Hronek, preventing a Jason Robertson chance. It's always good to get on someone like Robertson, as you know that it's so easy for him to put the puck in the net. Good pressure from the Canucks 6 minutes into the period. Marcus Pettersson goes off for high sticking. And then Matt Duchene scores his 30th of the season at 7:27 on the power play, assisted by Ben and Granlund. Dallas is now 3-for-3 on the power play. And so far, all Dallas's goals have been on the power play. And fun little fact note, I saw a tweet from Jeff Patterson mentioning that this was the first time all season that the Canucks have given up 3 power play goals. So these penalties seem to be really costing the Canucks. I also did send out a tweet feeling as though the calls were pretty one-sided up until this point. So I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if, the referees were, calling things in favor of Dallas, or if the Canucks were just being, just, you know, not being smart when it came to the penalties, and were, playing a little sloppy when it came to, or playing a little careless when it came to the penalties. Dallas seems to have an answer for the Canucks' penalty kill that's been so great as of late. And then there was the penalty on DPD for interference on Mikko Rantanen, who retaliated with a cross-check to the face. I honestly didn't really see much of an issue with the initial hit from DPD on Rantanen. Yes, it was interference, so it was a penalty, but I did not understand the reaction from Rantanen. I thought he was being a bit of a softy, a bit of a baby on that, all upset because he got put on his ass by a rookie. So I did not like that cross check from Rantanen. 4-on-4 hockey, both DPD and Rantanen off. Rantanen went off for cross checking, and DPD went off for interference. Canucks finally get a power play. So the Canucks finally go on the power play. Dumba goes off for cross checking, and the Canucks are not able to capitalize on the power play, at least before the end of the period. I didn't see a whole lot of urgency from the Canucks at the end of the second period. This was when things were kind of looking bleak for the Vancouver Canucks. Same old, consistently inconsistent to end the second period. Shots on the period were 12-10 in favor of Dallas. Shots after 40 minutes were 20-17 in favor of Dallas. Let's move on to the third period, and this is where things get juicy. So, Jake DeBrusk scores his 25th of the season at 17 seconds into the third period on the power play. So remember how we were saying no urgency from the Canucks? Same old, consistently inconsistent. Well, DeBrusk scores off the rush, assisted by Garland and Hughes, and Canucks showing some urgency to start the third period. And then Marchman goes off for high sticking. It ends up being a double minor. And Mancini scores his second of the season on the power. I didn't write down the time. My apologies on that. Let me just quickly look at that. So at 4:39, Mancini scores, assisted by Ratu and Carlson. Canucks are now 2 for 2 on the power play, with DeBrusk and Mancini both having scored on the power play. Canucks were really pressing on this power play. Like, they were controlling the puck, firing it on net, trying to get the puck to the net. The Canucks do not end up scoring on the latter half of the double minor penalty, so the Canucks end up being 2 for 3 on the power play. The Canucks at this point were doing a really good job of hemming Dallas in their own zone. And then what we all thought was the proverbial nail in the coffin, Maverick Bourque scores his 11th of the season at 17:15, assisted by Robertson. And you just can't leave a guy like that wide open. Like, there was nobody on Bourque. Like, where was our who was covering him? Like, you just can't let him just sit there and be wide open. But hey, don't go away. Granlund scores his 22nd of the season, scored at 17:39 and into an empty net. And then we thought this was the official backbreaker, assisted by Lindell and Duchesne. And then Ratu scores his 7th of the season. He's now scored 5 goals in 7 games since being called up, which is incredible for Ratu. Scores at 19 minutes, assisted by Marcus Pettersson. And then Pius Suter scores his 23rd of the season at 19:30. So 30 seconds later, Suter brings us within 1, assisted by Garland and Hronek. And then Pius Suter the shooter, scores his 24th of the season at 19:54, assisted by Hronek and Hughes. And we're all tied up, baby. We're all tied up. Man, Suitor the shooter. And then also, key little fact for those who may not know, Canucks will not be mathematically eliminated tonight. So they live to fight another day. They needed to lose in regulation in order to be eliminated. So you're saying there's a chance. Canucks are still in it, even though their odds are very slim. Final shots in the third period were 13-8 in favor of Vancouver. Shots after 60 minutes, shots were 30-28 in favor of Vancouver. Let's move on to overtime. Rantanen off for slashing. Canucks did not convert on the power play in overtime. They had some chances, but they were not able to get the puck past DeSmith. Canucks end up going 2 for 4 on the power play. And then Connor Garland feeds it to Kiefer Sherwood, and Kiefer Sherwood scores his 18th of the season at 3:44, assisted by Garland, and the Canucks complete the comeback. The Canucks win, complete the comeback. Final shots in the game, 32-28. Man, wow. Like, oh, what a game. But I just have to go ahead and say right now, Patrick Allvin and signing Kiefer Sherwood in the offseason after the way he played against us in the playoffs last year, and then the fact that Allvin went out and signed him in the offseason, bravo. I think that is the steal of the century, getting Kiefer Sherwood to sign with the Canucks. Post-game notes, Dallas didn't end up getting a shot in overtime. They didn't get a single shot on goal. The Canucks were in possession of the puck for the entirety, almost, of the overtime period. Canucks showed no quit. Garland with a huge night, 3 assists. Suter with a big night, 2 goals. Ratu with a big night, with a goal and an assist. And and then normally we have the line change player of the game. We're going to switch it up a little bit. And this is probably something that's going to happen going forward. We're going to do 3 stars instead of a single player of the game. We're going to do our pick 3 stars. Of course, this is a Vancouver Canucks podcast, so it's going to be exclusively Vancouver Canucks. But right now, I have our 3 stars as such. Let me just find it down here. These are our 3 stars. First star, Kiefer Sherwood. I mean, you got to give it to Sherwood. He scores the game winner to complete the comeback. And then Pew Suter, 2 goals, managed to tie it. And then you got to show some love to Connor Garland with the 3rd star, who had finished with 3 assists here tonight, had a big game. Now, Garland, 3-point night. Man, what a game. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, man. We got a Big Hog in the chat. LFG, yeah. 3 goals in 1 minute. Wow, yep. Love Kiefer Sherwood. Oh, yeah. Best free agent signing ever. I cannot disagree with that, man. Absolutely cannot disagree with that. See, what's his name? Man, whoa. What? Man, sorry, I was just in Rev Trev's live stream prior to getting this one going, and man, it's crazy in there, crazy. And I did mention that, earlier, this game got me a little emotional, and I'm not gonna lie, it did. It got me emotional, like especially right after Sherwood tied the game. Canucks broke an NHL record with 3 goals in less than 1 minute. Yet another record broken. So that's now, well, not back-to-back games, but that's now 2 games in the last few days that Canucks have broken a record. First, it was the 5 goals in 4 minutes and 30 seconds record. on Saturday against the Ducks, the game that I went to. And then they break a record here tonight with 3 goals in less than 1 minute. Go Canucks, go. You know, as I keep saying, so you're saying there's a chance. Man, but what a roller coaster of a season. This oh man, what a roller coaster of a freaking season this has been, with all the drama with Miller, Pettersson, you know, Rick Tocchet and his future, Brock Besser, his future, and then Pius Suter, his future. I mean, crap. After this game, you gotta re-sign Pius Suter. Like, if the Canucks do not re-sign Pius Suter after this season, that's gonna be a huge, mistake on their part. Because Suter, since PD's been out, he's stepped it up, and he's showing that he's worth a lot of money. I think I did see a tweet. I believe it was, I want to say, Lachlan Irvin, I think, on Twitter. Big Hog in the chat. Crazy how Pastrnak has 100 points on a crappy team. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Boston is so far down, and Boston's. Have they been eliminated yet? All I know is that they're like, second to last in the East, and if you think about it, just 2 years ago they were the best team in the league. They had freaking Ullmark and Swayman, Ullmark rather won the Vezina. But I will admit, as a Canucks fan, that I'm like laughing on the inside at how bad the Bruins are this season. This season. Big Hog says Boston is 5th worst in the league. Well, that makes a lot of Canucks fans feel really, really good. I'll tell you that. Especially me, as I absolutely hate Boston. Yeah, Big Hog says 2nd worst in the East. Good to know. Yeah, that makes, I gotta admit, that makes this comeback win tonight, even better. Even though the Canucks didn't play Boston, but just knowing that, Boston keeps losing and we're still fighting. Man, honestly, halfway through that game, I was trying to think of, topics and maybe like questions to talk about on this live stream. And one topic in particular that I was thinking about talking about was, I was going to ask the question, what went wrong this year? But I'm not going to ask that question, at least not tonight. I'm not asking that question at all. No negativity in this one, at least from me tonight. I'm going to enjoy this comeback win. I'm going to enjoy this big win. A lot of people had the Canucks ruled out, especially after the first 2 periods, man. Like, I was watching the game, and I'm just like, after the second period, I was like, man, they're going to need a miracle to come back from this. And do you believe in miracles? After tonight, heck yeah, I do. I believe in miracles. I mentioned earlier that I got a little emotional after the end of this game. That's just how, and I even tweeted it. I don't know if you guys saw, I tweeted it. I absolutely love this effing team. Like, that's how passionate I am about this team. I've been a Canucks fan since mid 90s. I've gone through the hardships that most Canuck fans have gone through. I've gone through the quote unquote dark ages, in the early to mid 2000s, went through 2011 and that heartbreak, and I'm still here. I'm still, a huge Canucks fan. My, belief in this team will not waver. Like, there's nothing this team can do that will make my belief waver in this team. That's how much I love this team, and that's just how passionate I am about this hockey team. So, I got some banner. No, I don't. But yeah, man, I'm still kind of at a loss for words. With this game, like, oh man, I am. This. Oh, um, I want to know what you guys think about this game. Let me know in the chat if you're in the chat on YouTube. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think about this game. Where do you rank it on comeback wins in, I don't know, let's go ahead and say Canucks history. Where would you guys rank this? I mentioned in I believe Rev Trev stream that this was kind of giving me Burrows slaying the dragon vibes. You know, I know they're completely different games, as one was a playoff game and this was a regular season. Technically, you could call it a throwaway game because, but it was also a do or die, must win, and so was that game against the Blackhawks in 2011. But instead of Burrows, it was Kiefer Sherwood. Now, I'm not saying he slayed the dragon or anything, or that referring to Dallas as a dragon, but just the emotional part of it gave me Burrows slaying the dragon vibes, if that makes any sense. Big Hog with Suter has 11 points in his last 8 games as a 1C. Yeah, I think I think I mentioned a tweet earlier that I saw in regards to Suter. I believe I mentioned that it was Lachlan Irvin, I think, but I think I saw him tweet, "Give Suter 8x8," and I believe Blake Price replied to it or something like, or it may have been Blake Price who said it, but I gotta say, yeah, I'd give Suter 8x8 at this point. Big Hug Ratu has 6 points in 7 games. Yeah, he's been, again, that all comes back to why didn't they call him up sooner? Like, why did it take so long for them to call up Ratu? I mean, just look at the way he's been playing. He's filled in, obviously Ratu's getting all this experience in these okay, these are meaningful games to us because, we want this team to, just squeak into the playoffs. And so to us, they're meaningful games, and he's coming up big. So are all the young guys: Linus Carlson, Victor Mancini, freaking DPD, Niels Hoglander. Big Hog asked, "You think we stole the Horvat trade?" That's tough. That's tough because I was a big Horvat fan. And as much as I love Ratu and what he's done, I don't know if I can answer that. At least not right this second. I mean, if you really think about it, with the Horvat trade, we got Philip Hronek technically as part of that. So, and Hronek, don't get me wrong, had a great first season with us. But he hasn't. Yeah, I definitely agree. I would say it's about even right now. Now if Ratu continues to go on this tear, and maybe if Hronek starts, like producing a little bit more and is able to have another season like he had last year, then I would probably say, yeah, we definitely stole we won the trade. But at the same time, Horvat's putting up points in New York. I mean, if you really think about it, the Islanders are without Barzal and have been without him for some time. So Horvat's had to step up. With the Canucks, we were worried that he couldn't hit 30 goals. We didn't think he was a 30 plus goal scorer. Since the trade, Horvat is a 30 plus goal scorer now. He's turned into that type of player. So that's why like I said, I have to agree with you, Big Hog. It's pretty even right now. That is a good point too. Horvat is getting older though, still pretty impressive point wise. You're not wrong. He is getting older. and Ratu is a lot younger. But maybe in a couple of years, then we can fully say that the Canucks won that trade. Um, but right now, it's like what I keep saying, and like what you said, it's pretty even right now. It's pretty even. But you know, I do miss Bo and having him. Just think back to when we had Horvat. We had Horvat, we had Miller, and we had Petey down the middle. And I don't think you can really. I don't know. Can you get any better than that on this Canucks team, having those three down the middle? If you have some names in mind, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Oh, and we got Golfers World on Instagram here in the chat. They're playing for their jobs. You're saying the Canucks can't do 8x8? Okay, fair. Insane center depth. Now look at it. Yeah, I know, right? It's like what I just said. And people keep coming back to that too, on the fact that they had Horvat, they had Miller, they had Petey, and now they have Petey. That's it. Like that's insane to me. They had Miller, they had Horvat, they had Petey, and now they just have Petey, and that's all in like a few years span. Like that is insane. But that's just how things work out, I guess. In the end, oh, sorry. But man, while we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick promo, and then we can just keep talking about this game. Maybe see if more people will come into the chat. I will admit this was a bit of a last minute stream. I didn't really promote it yesterday because I thought I was going to be working tonight, and then I ended up getting called off work, so that kind of worked out because I got to catch this game. But Big Hug, if you can get into a situation where your centers are Petey, 2C, Hedel, and Suter, then that would be awesome. I completely agree. And then even I think right now I'm not worried too much about who the 2C is going to be. I just want us to get a freaking 2C. That's all I care about at this point. But 2C to be named later. Yeah. I was on the big, Sam Bennett train, but I'm starting to think you're not going to be able to get Bennett because I think I think he's going to resign in Florida. And two, if he does go to free agency, a lot of teams are going to be gunning for Bennett, and he's going to have to make a choice. And for all we know, teams could throw money at him, and we may not be able to afford him at this point. But as much as I would love to have a guy like Sam Bennett on this team, I was watching a little bit of Sekeres and Price earlier, and they were talking about, guys on Dallas that we could look at getting as centers. And not gonna lie, after watching this game, I really like the idea of us getting Matt Duchene. I mean, he's one name that I've talked about in the past on this channel when we did, potential free agents that they could look at. I like the idea of having Matt Duchene. Yes, he's a little bit old or older, but when you have a lot of these young guys in your lineup and on your roster, you need at least a few veterans. And right now, the Canucks don't really have a veteran presence as a center or as a forward. Yes, they have their veteran presence on the defense side with guys like Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers, and whatnot, but they don't really have that in their forward group. So yeah, that's why I really like the idea of having Matt Duchene, and even Big Hog agrees. And if you think about it, Matt Duchene, the guy can score. at his age too, and he's putting up. Actually, let's quickly look at it because I still have the box score up. Yeah, so this year Matt Duchene has 30 goals, and he has, where is it? He's got 51 assists this year. So he's putting up points at his age. I mean, yes, he's playing on a really good Dallas Stars team, but he's got 81 points here tonight, or this season. He's got 81 points at like in his 30s. Like you can't tell me that you wouldn't love to have a guy like that on this Canucks teams. On this Canucks team right now. And he's an 80-point guy, 30 goal scorer. He's got 50 assists. I would absolutely love to have a guy like Matt Duchene on this team, but obviously we don't know if he wants to stay in Dallas or if he'll go to another contender. I know there's been talk about that on Twitter so far today. But you can also likely get Duchene on a cheap deal. You can get him on like a 1 year, $3 or $4 million deal, probably. Maybe if you wanted to stretch it, you could go have like 2 years. So, but another name that's on the Dallas Stars that I wouldn't mind us at least taking a look at, Mikael Granlund. Now, there was a poll on Twitter from Sekeres and Price, mentioning Duchene, Granlund, and I think it was Jamie Benn, and those were the options. Obviously, I went with Duchene, but I said it's pretty close between Duchene and Granlund. I think Duchene and Granlund are about the same age, but Granlund's put up a bunch of points this year too. Granlund's got 22 goals, and he's got 44 assists. So, yeah, Granlund's had a great season. Granted, he started the season off in San Jose and was traded at the deadline, but Granlund's got 66 points this year. And I'd like Granlund as our second line center. And again, he adds that veteran presence to the forward group. But if I had to pick between the two, I would obviously go with Duchene. I've also just always loved Matt Duchene, and I think he'd be one heck of a pickup for the Canucks. But question is, does he want to come to Vancouver? Obviously. But yeah, may as well. While I have, Big Hog is like, I would also love Tavares. It would be hard to get him, but he'd be awesome as a mentor for Petey. I can't argue with that. He would be a good mentor for Petey, but the question is, could we get Tavares? He's probably going to want a lot of money, so I don't know if we could afford him, but definitely would be pretty cool to have Tavares as a Vancouver Canuck. He would, like I keep mentioning, he would add that veteran experience to the forward group, much like Duchene would. And Tavares, even at his age, is still racking up points. So there's a positive there too. But while I have you guys on the stream here, I do have some content planned coming up. I just did I didn't just do, but I do have a top 10 ranking video coming out. I noticed how much people liked the top 10 ranking the Canucks jerseys. So I'm going to do another top 10 ranking, but this time it's going to be about my top 10 Canucks captains. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I haven't recorded it yet, but I got everything all set for it, graphics wise and and ranking wise. And I think that's gonna come out tomorrow. I'm gonna record that tonight. Big Hog's like he's better be at the top. I'm not gonna give him away just yet, but all I'll say is Hughes is in my top 5, so that's all I'm gonna say. Or Henrik, yeah, yeah. I think you guys are gonna like my top 10 ranking for captains, and then let me also ask: do you guys want to see me do more top 10 rankings and like make it like Canucks related stuff? Like we could do, I don't know, goalies. I think I'm actually gonna do a goalies one. You know, my top 10 Canuck goalies of all time. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see more of those types of videos, and I'll gladly do them, as they're actually a lot of fun to do, especially when it comes to like the thumbnails and the graphics and stuff. I really have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, that little promo, I'm gonna go ahead and show that little promo, and then we might actually wrap it up. But yeah, let me just quickly do my little promo first. Oops. So yeah, right now we're running a opening week sale. The sale ends on April 13th, which is on Sunday. Lots of great merch there. You know, you can rep the line change brand. It's at the line change podcast.threadless.com. Definitely get it while supplies last. Like I said, the sale is only going on until Sunday, and then everything goes back to regular price. So get it while you can, and support the channel, support the line change, and yeah. So yeah, there's that. Whew. So yeah, I got that top 10 ranking video coming out. I got some other videos that I'm planning to do. Well, I had some ideas for like I mentioned earlier about doing like I was gonna do a video on what went wrong for the Canucks this season. Like I mentioned earlier that we were gonna possibly discuss in this live stream, but maybe I'll save that for a video later on. And yeah, so yeah, I think we're gonna cut it now. We're at almost 40 minutes, and I'm still on a bit of a high from that big Canucks win. And yeah, so we're gonna end it here. Thank you to those that were a part of the stream. And yeah, sorry guys, I'm just that's gonna do it for me. I almost completely forgot about Thursday when the Canucks play the Avalanche. I don't have the graphic, but I'm just gonna quickly once again promote the Canucks Army watch party happening on Thursday. There's been some changes to it. General admission is now free, so you don't have to pay for a ticket. come on down to Greta and watch the Canucks play the Avalanche. We thought that it might be a throwaway game. That was before this game tonight, but its general admission is free. So come on down to Greta on Thursday, April the 10th, and watch the Canucks play the Avalanche. Join the Canucks Army crew. Blake Price and Matt Sakaris will be there. David Quadrilli of Canucks Army will be there. Who knows? Maybe you'll run into JPat from Rinkwide Vancouver. I will be down there as well. I'm still going, as I had pre-bought my ticket. You can still pay $40 for a ticket that gets you a burger, a beer, and a game card, but general admission is free. So yeah, once again, come on down, 50 West Cordova, Greta Bar, let the games begin. Now that I've promoted that, yeah, I'm gonna head on out. Great win for the Canucks. They keep their playoff chances alive by a literal single thread. And yeah, I will not quit on this team until they're mathematically eliminated. And heck, even at that point, I'm still gonna root on this team. And it's got me, all these young guys have got me really excited. You know, like the Ratus, the Carlsons, the Hoaglanders. They've all got me excited for this team and for the future. But I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for being here in the stream, and go Canucks, go.